Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Thank you for joining us tonight. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Fresh off my first trip to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Great experience. Tiger Stadium. Wow, this is something else. It was certainly electric, and it was certainly loud for the first couple of quarters until Alabama, took down another top team. This team, what Alabama did against number 3 LSU was incredible. It was a big-time statement. Tonight on the show, going to play Nick Saban's press conference. We're going to look at the offensive and defensive stats. We're going to talk Tua Tagovailoa. We're going to also talk Quinn Williams. Quinn Williams completely balled out last night. That was incredible. Defense, getting shut out, the old goose egg. We're going to look at Alabama's remaining schedule. And we're going to talk college football playoffs all tonight on the BamaInsider.com live stream. And of course, we will take your calls at 205-686-3604. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me. And, I have to tell you, my experience to Baton Rouge, it was great. I mean, Tiger Stadium is a massive, massive stadium. And much respect to the people of Baton Rouge. Certainly put on a good product. But Alabama is gonna Alabama, and a 29-0 victory. Did not expect it. Keep the calls on hold, and I will get to you guys in just a little bit. Here we go. We're gonna start off with Nick Saban's press conference, and then we'll get going.
Well, obviously, guys, I'm very proud of our team. We really wanted to make a statement in this game. A lot of people talking about our schedule and. We have a lot of respect for LSU and their team. And, I think we played a pretty complete game, today. Both sides of the ball. I'm sure there's always things that we can improve on, but we talked about controlling the line of scrimmage. I think we did that. We did have a turnover on a long pass, but I was really, really pleased with the explosive plays that we're able to make. The way we were controlled the tempo of the game on offense. I think it took the crowd out of the game a little bit. The defense played really well. To shut out this team is really a pretty significant accomplishment. And, I think it shows the players that when you're really focused on something and you got the right kind of mindset and intensity, there was going to be a choice that everybody had to make at some point in the game today, is whether they're going to keep fighting or they were going to surrender to the circumstances and the situation and playing out there. And even when we started early in the game, moved the ball up and down the field and didn't really cash in on the points. Stubbed our toe a couple times, got some negative plays, missed executions, but didn't finish drives, but everybody just kept playing. Everybody made the choice to keep playing and grinding, and I think that was the key to us eventually getting control of the game in the second half. And Tua played really well. Damian Harris obviously had a great game. Najee had a great game. From an injury standpoint, Ruggs got, nobody knows for sure, I think kicked in the side of the leg. X-rays were negative, so we think it's a bruise right now, but they'll further evaluate that tomorrow. Najee got an ankle sprain. Doesn't seem to be severe. And I think that hopefully Jalen, who is just starting to turn the corner, has a little bit of trouble running, but can actually throw and do things in the pocket. So hopefully he'll turn the corner and be ready next week. But Mac Jones would have been the backup quarterback today if we needed him.
Coach, we'll open up to questions.
All right, that was Nick Saban's opening comments. You can watch the full press conference on our YouTube channel. There's a couple things, and that stood out to me from last night, and you can read my full observations on BamaInsider.com. But let's first look at the offensive stats, and that'll help us kind of digest this game, and then we'll kind of walk through the offensive and defensive stats. Quickly, though, wanted to, this was me last night, Tiger Stadium, saying what's up, Hendo, your boy, coming to you from Tiger Stadium. First time there, had to get the photo out. All right. Here are the offensive stats from last night. And I thought the offense played a very good game against a very impressive defense. Now, LSU's defense they were great. I mean, I think they were everything that people talked about them to be. Certainly had a very good secondary. And for the first time, we saw Tua go 4 quarters, 25 of 42, 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, threw his first interception off that deep ball. It was a great play by the defensive secondary. I believe it was a safety. He even had a hand in his face, came in with that interception. Damian Harris, as I talked about on my last show, I said, really want to see a big game from him. And what did he do? He balled out. I honestly think that was Damian Harris's best game as a member of the Crimson Tide. I think he ran really hard throughout the night. 19 carries, 107 yards, was his second time hitting the 100-yard mark, which is kind of hard to believe this year. But I guess, Alabama has been doing so much through the air. 107 yards on the night with 1 touchdown, longest of 21st. He even pulled a little hurdle, kind of a Najee Harris type play. Speaking of Najee Harris, left the game with the ankle injury. As Saban said, didn't look too serious. 6 attempts for 83 yards. Jeez, average of 13.8 yards a carry. And then Tua had 49 yards. 44 of those came off that touchdown run. And it was funny. I don't know if you saw it, but someone gifted on Twitter, or gifed it, if you want to call it GIF or GIF. It was when Tua broke that running play. Someone posted the clip of Forrest Gump running with the the braces on his legs. It was hilarious. So you go find that. You'll have yourself a good laugh. Even Brian Robinson got some yards last night. 4 attempts, 27 yards, and Josh Jacobs 4 carries for 17 yards. Receiving wise, Jerry Jeudy 8 receptions, 103 yards. Targeted 12 times on the night. Did you see that play where he was making everybody miss? He even had that defender just fly straight into the ground. Jerry Jeudy has an amazing start and stop ability. Irv Smith had a big night, 4 receptions, 64 yards, including a touchdown pass from Tua Tagovailoa. And that was a great play by Tua when he found Irv Smith in the end zone, right in the breadbasket. Irv Smith, such a dynamic weapon. Henry Ruggs had what I feel is the catch of the year when he hauled back with that one-handed grab. I've watched that all day long. I can't get enough of that play. Henry Ruggs, 4 receptions, 55 yards, and Jalen Waddle, who also had an incredible tiptoeing catch on the sideline, 4 receptions for 44 yards. Damian Harris had 3 receptions for 6 yards, and Josh Jacobs, 2 receptions for 23 yards. We're going to start looking at the defensive stats now. As I mentioned earlier, the play of Quinnen Williams was absolutely fantastic last night. Redshirt sophomore, 10 tackles, which was a career high for him. 7 of those total, 2.5 sacks. Did you guys see? There was a lot of holding calls last night in that game. A lot of holding calls that did not get called. I even have a clip on Bama Insider, not a clip, an image of it was Raekwon. He was getting bear hugged from the back. It wasn't pretty. Savion Smith, who actually used to play at LSU, 6 tackles, should have had a pick 6. I bet he would have loved to have that pick 6. Should have had an interception, bounced off his hands, had 2 pass breakups. Dylan Moses, 6 total tackles. Shaheem Carter. A lot of these guys are from Louisiana. I was talking to our team writer, Tony Sukalis, and brought up a lot of these guys are from Louisiana, going back to Baton Rouge and playing for Bama and balling out. Deontay Thompson, 4 tackles. Xavier McKinney, who's been having a really strong season, had 4 tackles. And then Mac Wilson had an interception. Seems like he always gets a lot of interceptions for a linebacker. And Raekwon Davis had 4 tackles as well. Patrick Surtain, he had that pass breakup. Probably would have been a touchdown. Joe Burrow threw that right in the numbers. And Patrick Surtain, the freshman, leaped up and knocked it out. And then Anthony Jennings, did you see when he implanted Joe Burrow straight into the ground? That looked like it hurt so bad. I'm so glad I wasn't on the other end of that. It was seriously went right into the ground. That was bad. Tua, the play of Tua Tagovailoa continues to just impress, on all levels. He's now directed 72 drives as a Tide starting quarterback this season, with 45 resulting in touchdowns. Tua has also thrown for 27 touchdown passes this year in 9 games, which ranks number 4 on Alabama's single-season touchdown list. A.J. McCarron threw 30 in 2012, so that record definitely almost to go down, and Tua's done it in just 9 games. Just an incredible season for Tua, and certainly balled out on a big-time stage last night. And I'm glad a lot of people got to see Tua play and just see how special he is. And he went 4 quarters and got banged up a little bit, took a shot to what he called the goodies in the first quarter, but came back in and did his thing in that run of 44 yards. Was certainly the nail in the coffin for Alabama beating LSU last night. The play of Quentin Williams is fantastic this year, all the way through. Coming into this season, I felt that Alabama would have Raekwon Davis and Isaiah Buggs as the 2 defensive end bookends, who would really be headline this defensive line unit. However, Quentin Williams has just completely taken over as the top defensive lineman for this team, and what he's doing and his ability to get to the quarterback is very impressive. He's actually college football's defensive line player of the year. I'm sure he'll be the SEC defensive lineman or the SEC defensive player of the week. Had a career high 10 tackles. What a season and what a young man for Quentin Williams. I'm just really thrilled to see him excelling at such a high level. Here's a look at Alabama's remaining schedule. Alabama will take on Mississippi State, who is ranked 18th, this Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And today, Vegas Insider listed Alabama as a 25.5-point favorite this Saturday, taking on Mississippi State. Following Mississippi State, Alabama will take on the Citadel. The game is also at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And then Alabama will take on the Auburn Tigers on Thanksgiving weekend. And that should be an action-packed final 3 games. And Alabama clinched the West, and Georgia clinched the East this weekend, which means the 2 will meet on December 1st in the SEC Championship, which is a rematch of the NCAA Championship game in Atlanta. So our staff will head back to Atlanta to see the rematch of, look at all those games. Those are some great games. And I know you probably look at the game against the Citadel and you're probably bummed out, because you can't see your guys, but who knows what's going to happen on any given Saturday. And, of course, Nick Saban isn't overlooking anybody, and all his focus is on Mississippi State, which it should be. But there are their remaining games in, of course, the college football playoffs. If Alabama, now let's talk a little college football playoffs, okay? If Alabama wins the remaining games, right, and beats Mississippi State, Citadel, and Auburn, they will be 12-0 on the season, which will put them against Georgia. Now, I'm assuming Georgia probably run the table with the remaining schedule. If Alabama was to even lose that game, you got to still think they're a lock to make the college football playoffs. If Alabama just wins outright, then of course they're the number 1 seed in the playoffs, which is, more than likely to happen with the way this team is playing. So now let's look at the college football playoffs, and this is last week's college football playoffs, and these will be updated each Tuesday for the remaining section of the college football season. And let's just look at the results now. These are updated. Alabama now 9-0, the victory over LSU. Clemson moved to 9-0 as well. LSU now 7-2. LSU will obviously bump out, which means Notre Dame will bump up because they're 9-0 after beating Northwestern. And then you have Michigan, who Michigan is playing some very good football right now. If you watch them, they're playing some complete football. And remember, their loss is to Notre Dame earlier in the season. So it's definitely going to be Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan. So let's say that happens, and that's our final 4 for the college football playoffs. This is what will happen. Alabama would take on Michigan if Michigan was the 4 seed. That game would be the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Why? Well, because Tuscaloosa is closer to Dallas, Texas than Tuscaloosa is closer to Miami, where the Orange Bowl will be in that playoff game. So it would be Alabama in Michigan if this scenario holds out, and it would be Clemson taking on Notre Dame, and that game would be in Miami. The winner of those 2 games will play in Santa Clara, California, a.k.a. the 49ers' new football stadium, for the national championship game. So the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl are your 2 playoff games, and that's kind of an early scenario. But, of course, there's a lot of things that could change, and you have teams like Oklahoma, West Virginia, even Georgia, still primed to make it up into the college football top 4. But right now, it's difficult to see Clemson losing. It's difficult to see Notre Dame losing. Michigan, I guess you could say, is the only team right now who could potentially be, replaced in that mix if they do drop that game. Because remember, they do play Ohio State later on in the season. So we'll have to see what happens. But college football playoffs just around the corner. But there's a lot of football that still has to be played. And, of course, Alabama has to take care of business against Mississippi State. Remember that game last year in Starkville? By the way, that stadium in Starkville against Mississippi State, it might have been just as loud as LSU Stadium last night. I'm serious. They had those cowbells ringing, and Nick Fitzgerald was balling out. I thought, honestly, that Mississippi State was going to beat Alabama. So any given Sunday, but Vegas likes Alabama as a 25.5 favorite. I will go ahead and open the line if you guys want to call in. 205-686-3604. I want to get your thoughts on this game. We got our first caller. All right, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from and who I'm on the line with?
Hey, Kyle. This is Terry Ann McCray calling from Jackson's Gap, Alabama.
Really good to hear from you tonight. What did you think about the game on Saturday between Alabama and LSU? What are your takeaways?
Well, I was thrilled to death. I think you remember I called you the other night and told you how Alabama had actually played more top 50 offenses than LSU had. Mm-hmm. And I think that showed on the field Saturday night. A lot of people was thinking LSU was going to have the better defense, but I didn't. I knew Alabama was going to have the better defense. And I just think it was a full team win. Tua did his part. Defense did their part. We couldn't ask for no better game, and I'm just very proud of all those young men.
What did you think? I think it was a big statement on Saturday because everybody's been talking about Alabama's offense, and rightfully so. I mean, this offense has now accounted for over 500 yards in 9 consecutive games, if you can believe that. I mean, that's a hats off to the offense and Mike Locksley, who's done a wonderful job. But nobody's really talked about this defense. And granted that LSU doesn't have the best offense, I thought what Alabama did against LSU, shutting them out, 29-0, I think it was a big statement for the defense, and I think that's certainly a game that the nation needed to see from Alabama, just to see that they are a well-rounded team. They're not all offense. This is a complete team that you're dealing with right now as you look to the college football playoffs.
Right, and I think that is the statement that they really wanted to make. When they interviewed Coach Saban after the game, he said that the defensive players, they had told him that they really wanted to make a statement, and they sure did. They left it all out on the field.
Yeah, they certainly did. Any other observations while you're on the line?
Sure. We just got to keep our eye on the prize, and, we cannot overlook this Mississippi State team because, I don't know why everybody's been saying that LSU would be the best defense that we face because, according to the statistics, it's actually Mississippi State that has the best defense that we will face, according to total defense.
Yeah, I certainly think you have a good point. You cannot overlook this Mississippi State team. I wouldn't be surprised if Saban during his Monday press conference refers to this game as a trap game. I mean, certainly a game that you cannot overlook. I mean, just because you did beat number 3 LSU, I mean, Mississippi State coming in to Bryant-Denny, that would be a disastrous loss if Alabama was to overlook Mississippi State. So, I certainly appreciate the call-in, and we'll catch up next time.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. All right. See you.
Bye.
All right. Call-in line is open. 205-686-3604. Got our next call coming in. All right. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thank you very much for calling. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hunter from Hartford, Alabama.
What's up, Albert? Thanks for calling in, Meddy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Hey, I tell you what, Quentin Williams, man, he's the best at college football right now. I've been high on this guy for the last 3 games. I mean, look at what he did. I mean, he was the leader on defense. I mean, what is your opinion on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, the play of Quentin Williams has only gotten better throughout the season. And it's like I said, I never thought that he would be this productive. I guess I didn't know his talent level. And, taking over for Daron Payne, who I felt was one of the best defensive tackles in college football, I thought it would be impossible to replace Daron Payne. And to see Quentin Williams surpass Daron Payne is truly exceptional. I mean, when you look at the grades side by side, I'll bust out the grades again on Thursday, by the way, but Quentin Williams has outplayed Daron Payne, and Daron Payne was a first-round NFL draft pick last year.
Yeah, and I think he'll be a high pick too once it's his turn. And I think this week, Nick Saban, he's a defensive guy. And so when he said that he wanted to make a statement, he wanted to make a defensive statement. And he was talking about how everybody was picking on us about our schedule. Well, we just upset the number 3 team in the country, and who did have one of the best defenses in the country. I do disagree, however, that Mississippi State might have the best numbers, but I think the eye test tells you that they're not the best defense in the country. I think that or that we based yet.
Sure.
I think that Tua and Jalen will be back, and I think they'll play both guys, and I think we win big come Saturday.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point on Jalen because the week leading up to LSU, I mean, he didn't look healthy at all. Could barely even run. And I think even Saban said that last night after his during the press conference. So I'm not sure the health status on Jalen. I would still list him as questionable.
He'll be back.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I think he's still questionable for this week, and hopefully he comes back. And it doesn't look like Henry Ruggs, has suffered too big of an injury either. Although his injury did look bad if you were watching it on TV.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. Do you think that, this is my opinion, I think the most underrated player on our team right now is Brian Robinson. Look at what he did last night when he got to play. Brian Robinson's a beast, and he's going to be the next big back out of Alabama. I mean, the kid is very, very talented. He can move, man. I think he's our next kind of Josh Jacobs, where nobody was expecting it, and that kid's going to be something special once it comes his turn.
Oh, I certainly agree. I mean, Brian Robinson, I mean, he's built like a NFL type back already. And I think if he can just wait his turn, he's going to do extraordinary things at Alabama once he gets a shot. But I mean, there's plenty of talent on that backfield, from Damian to Najee to Josh Jacobs to Brian Robinson, and even the young Jerome Ford. The early chances we got to see him play certainly has the talent to fit with the Alabama's running back U. And then don't forget, Alabama's still in the mix for 5-star Trey Sanders. So,
yeah, and I think with Brian Robinson, I don't think he'll go anywhere. Even if he doesn't get an immediate start. He's from Tuscaloosa. He grew up as a big Alabama fan. His whole family went to Alabama. I think we'll end up getting Trey Sanders. I think he understands that coming to Alabama, you might have to wait your turn, but once you do get your turn and you're going to learn from some of the best, you're going to be practicing to get some of the best in college football. And I think we end up picking him up as a recruit this year. And I can't wait. I tell you what, I cannot wait for Talia to come to Alabama and see what he can do. He's putting up amazing numbers in high school. So I'm very optimistic for the next couple of years of Alabama football.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anything else while you're on the show, buddy?
Yeah, I think of our offensive line next year is going to be the best in the country. You look at who we got coming in and who we got right now. I don't think there's anybody in the country come next year that's going to be able to compete with us. Our offensive line, it's going to be a killer one. They got a 5-star recruit out of Trustville, Pierce Quick, who's a offensive tackle, and and some of the other guys who were freshmen this year, but you're now starting to get some reps in. I think we'll be an elite offensive line come next year.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for the call in, buddy. I appreciate it. Call in next time, please.
All right, well.
All right, call-in number is open. All right, here we go. All right, good evening. Thanks for calling in. It's Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Dwayne.
Hey, what's up, Dwayne? Where are you calling from, man?
Calling from Melbourne, Florida.
All right, good stuff. You're on the line, man. Go ahead, shoot. Your show.
Yeah, first of all, let me just say, man, you got a great show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's the first time I've been able to get through, actually, and watching a lot of your shows. But, you know, I've been a Bama fan since I was 4 years old, and that was, well, just say over 50 years. And I have seen some great Alabama teams. And I would have to say that this team has got to be ranked up there with one of the best Alabama teams of all time.
Wow. Yeah, I think
from every position on the field, I mean, we lost 22 players off our defense in the last 2 drafts, and to be able to put a defense together that quick is just a testament to the coaching staff and the I got a dry mouth. I apologize.
You're good.
A testament to the coaching staff and to the dedication of every player on that team to want to be better each and every week. I don't think that this particular team is going to look past any team that they have to play ever. So I don't think there's going to be any issue with Mississippi State. I mean, they're a good team. They're dangerous, but we're more dangerous. And the statement we made in LSU, by shutting them out, it doesn't matter how many points we scored. The fact that we shut them down on both sides of the ball is just amazing.
No, I certainly agree. And to build off that, I found this stat really interesting. Alabama's defense has not surrendered a touchdown in its last 11 quarters of play and 1 overtime possession at Tiger Stadium. Can you believe that? Alabama owns Tiger Stadium. Nick Saban owns Tiger Stadium. And to build off your comments, when you talk greatest college football teams, pair up this team statistically against 2013 Florida State, against the great Nebraska team, against the great Texas team. This team statistically and on the field talent-wise is one of the greatest in college football. But I will say this. I cannot believe that one of the greatest college football teams in recent memory has one of the worst PAT units that there is. It's unacceptable that this team continues to have difficulties with the kicking game. I mean, Mac Jones bobbled the ball, which led to a missed PAT. There was another kick that was low. I mean, there's only one other team in the SEC that has missed a PAT, and that is Ole Miss. Alabama has missed 6 PATs on the season, and I really hope that down the road Alabama doesn't have to hit a PAT to save their season. I would rather them just go for 2. Put Tua back there and go for 2, because I do not want to see what would happen if Alabama has to kick a PAT when they need it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Coach Saban had touched on that in his post-game interview about the kicking game and saying that his kicker has no difficulties basically when in practice. So essentially it all comes down to confidence to be able to hit a simple PAT in a game. I mean, and you can't – a kicker has to take his mind completely out of the situation and just use body mechanics, muscle memory, those things that allows him to kick the same balls in practice he should be able to kick on the field during a game. And it's confidence, and confidence will kill you.
Certainly. Anything else while you're on the show?
Yeah, what did you think about Tua's brother walking down the middle of the field with the LSU coach with the LSU credentials around his neck?
Yeah, Talia took, I believe it was an official visit to LSU, and he was just being checked out by Ed Orgeron a couple weeks before when Talia and Paul Tyson played, which I found was really interesting. But I think, if you're Talia, you got to go and experience that type of atmosphere and certainly check out the schools that are pursuing you, because that has to be a right fit for you. Now, LSU certainly could, they need a quarterback. They need Talia, but I don't think they're going to be able to pry Talia away from Alabama, because I think when Tua is ready to turn the keys over, he could probably just turn them over to his brother, and you could have another Hawaiian or Samoan quarterback leading Alabama football. So I think you're going to see Talia take his trips, but I don't think there's anything to be concerned about.
Yeah, I hope not. Last thing, I forgot what I was going to say. So don't sweat it. I don't want to take up any other caller's time that wants to get through.
Hey, Colin.
Thanks for your great show, buddy. I think we're going to finish. Oh, I never remember what it was. Just real quick, of the top 6 ranked teams in the nation, which team do you think would give Alabama the toughest game in the final? I'd say Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan already lost, to Notre Dame. But I tell you what, Michigan is playing some fantastic football. I think Shea Patterson at quarterback is doing a fantastic job. Really like, how the offense has been playing. And I think Michigan also has a very underrated defense. I don't know.
I totally agree. They scare me.
I mean, Michigan,
Harbaugh is an excellent coach and has succeeded at every level of coaching he's ever done.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan certainly has the guys. I mean, if they can, I want to continue to see them play out strong. I want to see them play against Ohio State. If they can put Ohio State away and it pairs up to be a 1-versus-4 matchup with Alabama and Michigan way down the road, I can't wait to see that. I would love to see Harbaugh coach against Saban, and I would like to see those two teams get on the field together.
Yeah, I'd like to see Clemson drop a game too. All right, buddy.
All right,
good
take
talking
it easy.
to you.
Yeah,
thanks a lot, and have a great night.
All right, thank you. You too. Call line is open, 205-686-3604. What do you think about the kicking game? All right, does that concern you? I mean, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't concern you because, Alabama's going to score 50 points a game. All right, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Antonio calling out of Tuscaloosa.
What's up, man? How's your Sunday?
I'm doing good, man. What a game. Oh, yeah. I think I spoke to you last time, Thursday, and I felt like Alabama was going to blow them out, but I didn't think they was going to shut them out. I'm just shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I expected a shutout either, especially because LSU even has a very good field goal kicker in Cole Tracy, who even missed a field goal at his home stadium. I think Alabama really took the sails out and showed them, what the number one team in the country can do on the road. And I thought it was a very impressive win. And credit LSU. I mean, very good open field tacklers. I thought their secondary, I had heard that their secondary was good. I'd watched them on film and knew that Greedy Williams and Grant Telput, those guys were back there. They're going to do their thing. But, Alabama went right at them. Tua had a big game. And I loved how Alabama went with a healthy dose of Damian Harrison to kind of, get some ball control and really silence that crowd, because the crowd was loud, very loud. And Alabama did their thing, and the defense came through. And as we've been talking about on the show, Quinn Williams was absolutely stellar and getting to the quarterback. There was a lot of holds. Did you see all those holding calls that weren't called, or those holds that weren't called?
Yeah, I was kind of mad about that, but just keep playing. I just kept saying, just keep playing.
Yeah. As you look at the schedule down the road, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, you got Mississippi State, Citadel, Auburn, Georgia now in the SEC championship. What's kind of your take as you look through the month of November into early December?
Well, I feel like I'll just really take it one day at a time, basically one game at a time. Mississippi State, I have a lot of respect for that team, especially they played us last year. And I just feel like, they do have a good defense. It's just the offense side of the ball is their weakness. But Auburn, ain't nobody really talking about them. I'm really circling in Auburn because, we did lose to them last year.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of got a little thing going, a little momentum building going on because, they beat Texas A&M yesterday. So, me personally, I do feel like we'll beat them, but I don't want Alabama fans to kind of lose weight on Auburn. You know, I feel like that's to be the more trap game than anything else is Auburn.
Yeah, I think so. And Auburn, that's their Super Bowl now. You know, I mean, with the way that their season is going, I think Auburn has Alabama, and that's their game. I mean, to disrupt this season that Alabama has been having, I mean, would be everything for Gus Malzahn and Auburn. So I think you're right on that. I mean, when you look at the remaining schedule, I mean, you got to obviously take it day by day, but Auburn is going to pose a very good threat. I mean, we saw that game last year, and you know, their defense certainly dominated Alabama last year. But with that said, I mean, this is a completely different animal. I mean, what we're seeing from Alabama, I mean, we haven't seen a team like this in many years, if not ever. I mean,
to me, they kind of remind me towards the defense. Well, really, the team, besides the offense, is really, if you think about the 2011 year, if you think about that, it's kind of some similarities to that year. That's how I feel. But I have one other thing.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's talking about the kicking, right? Saban is good at recruiting. But I've been saying for the past 3 years that he needs to go out. No disrespect to the kickers that's there. But if schools go out here and be recruiting kickers that can kick, I still feel like that's something we really need to be trying to recruit. I mean, we good at recruiting on the defense side of the ball and the offense side of the ball, but we really do need to focus on kicking. Recruiting guys that can kick, because it's no excuse to be that close to field goal range and miss. I mean, it just don't nobody want to talk about it. I mean, yeah, we won the game, but I mean, come on, you never know what may happen. It may come down to us having to kick the ball to win the game. You just never know what may happen. And I really think that's something that he just going to have to focus on, even in the off season, just to kind of get that in check, if anything.
No, I certainly agree. I mean, the special teams game, I mean, like I said earlier, I would hate to see Alabama in a tight game and have to rely on a PAT or a field goal. I mean, we saw how that even worked out last year in the national title game when we thought Papanassis was going to close the deal, you know, and then we had to go to overtime. So certainly still an issue here at Alabama. Will Richard is a class of 2019 commit who, when I talk with Andrew Bone, our recruiting analyst, says he tells me the kicking woes will be silent, but until I see the kicking woes go away, I mean, I still suspect in Alabama's kicking game. Thanks for calling in, though. I appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, take it easy. All right, call line is open, 205-686-3604. I mean, that's really the only thing about this team that I have concerns about, right? All right, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thanks for calling in. Who am I on the line with and where you calling from?
Rob in Colorado.
Rob in Colorado. Man, what's up, dude? It's good to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you, too. Yeah, I saw the last show, but I didn't get a chance to call in.
It's all good, man. No offense. I appreciate the support. And what were your takeaways from the game last night?
Well, I think Dylan Moses and Mac Williams are faster than most safeties on most teams.
Yeah.
I mean, is there another linebacker group more athletic than those guys? Those guys are Ferraris.
And I think you bring up a good point, because the interception that Mac Wilson had in the end zone, that was a very athletic play.
Man,
right?
He was 3 feet off the ground.
He was. And Dylan Moses, remember the first game of the season against Louisville when Dylan Moses ran down that Louisville receiver? That was an incredible play. So when you talk about athleticism from the inside linebackers, those guys are tremendous athletes. And I was really happy to see, and I've been pleasantly surprised with his play recently, is Anthony Jennings. I don't think we talk about him enough.
Hey, isn't it funny how he kind of comes along late in the season? Like, remember he came along around the Clemson game?
Yeah.
Kind of like live.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing like a late spurt from Anthony Jennings. He hit Joe Burrow so hard yesterday, I was like, ooh, I hope he can get up from that.
If you look closely, when he hit Joe Burrow on the safety line, it looked like a safety, but I guess it wasn't.
I thought so too. But if you look even closer, his helmet's almost like turned around the other way.
No, do you see who did that? Was I don't know if Williams fell on him on purpose or accident. Williams fell on him right after. I had to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
It looked like he almost broke his neck because his head was fully turned.
Yeah, those are some big boys down there. Defense doing their thing, though. What'd you think? What was going through your mind when Tua was running down the field with that 44-yard touchdown?
He kind of looked like an old lady running with some groceries in her hand.
I thought the Forrest Gump, like with his running with the braces, was like pop off.
He did look like Forrest Gump, though. You're right.
Somebody posted that on Twitter, and I kept watching it again and again. And even Tua said, he was like, yep. He was like, pretty much. Another thing from the game that people put on social media was that poor young lady who was so mad that the LSU was losing.
Oh.
Did you see that?
Hey, but Kyle, she was kind of hot though. She was kind of hot, but she was mad though.
She was mad. She was mad. I felt bad for her, man, because that's gonna be a meme that everybody uses for the rest of college football, maybe for the rest of next year. It's so funny.
But no, I saw somebody. I think it was Don P in the chat room. They need to make that a meme, bro. Speaking of memes, dude, a GIF. Judy shook, I think it was number 45, man, shook him out of his draws.
No, and then the guy came, another defender, when Jerry like hit the brakes, the other guy literally did fly right by, and he flew into he flew into the grass. And Judy's been, man, he's something else.
I know he had moves, but this dude, he's running so fast, it almost doesn't look like he's running that fast. It's kind of weird.
I was surprised last night with LSU's open field tackle ability, because some of those passes, they were definitely able to get Alabama's receivers down, and that's not usually the case of what we've seen. So, credit those guys for doing a good job. But, I don't know. Jerry Jeudy's certainly something else. And then what about that catch? I mean, we talked about it earlier, but what were your thoughts when Henry Ruggs went up there and made the catch of the year? That one-handed grab? Jeez.
He got some NBA hands. You see how big his hand was when you see it do it? He has a hell of a grip.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Ruggs is certainly an NFL guy. I mean, I think a lot of people talk about Jerry Jeudy being in the NFL, but so will Henry Ruggs. I mean, did you know that Henry Ruggs clocked out not too long ago at 24 miles an hour? It was a touchdown he scored against Missouri that was called back. But he clocked out at 24 miles an hour. Yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful?
He's fast, man. He's so fast.
But I heard you in the last caller talking about who could beat Bama, and I think you said Michigan and Clemson. I think you guys brought those two teams up. I don't see it, Kyle. I'm not trying to I know I'm not trying to have crimson glasses on, all right, but I just don't see. I mean, Shea Patterson, Trevor Lawrence, when they get rattled, they haven't been rattled. I mean, Notre Dame rattled them. I mean, could you imagine if Quentin Williams getting in his face? Trevor Lawrence has a clean pocket. I mean, I hate to watch Clemson, but I watched a little bit of it. Trevor Lawrence has no pressure on him.
Yeah,
he's just throwing the ball like he might as well be at a snack bar somewhere with an ice cream cone in his left hand and the football in his right, throwing passes.
The thing about Clemson, and, I want to watch some more film on them, but from an offensive perspective, I mean, they got wide receivers who could stretch the field. I mean, Justin Ross, is a very talented freshman right out of Alabama who's having a really good season, and then they have Amari Rodgers, who's targeted a ton for Clemson, and then Trevor Lawrence is a freshman, but he's doing his thing. With Michigan, I've always had respect for Shea Patterson, but I just don't know I cannot see, a team keeping up stride for stride if Alabama really has to drop the hammer and Nick Saban's like, all right, score every time to it. I mean, Alabama just hasn't had to do that this season. Even in Oklahoma, could Oklahoma keep up with Alabama?
Man, Texas Tech almost put them asleep.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, Ball State. Who's the other team that almost beat them? Some Northwestern kept it close.
Northwestern.
Northwestern's a team full of doctors and scientists. Like, come on, man. Like, and then you got Clemson beating up on teams when the coach quit on the team, Louisville, and Wake Forest, and then Syracuse and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer. Bama would not come close to any of those teams as far as like Notre Dame kept it close.
I mean, you're right. I mean, when you think about like if Alabama and Northwestern were going to play like this weekend, like I mean, what would the spread be? The spread would be like
40?
Yeah, that's what it would be. I don't know. I mean, Vegas has some early lines on some of the projected opponents, and it's like 2 touchdowns, against each of these guys. But I mean, I don't know. When I look at the schedule, I still, have respect for, Georgia as well. I know they slipped up against LSU. But, if they can get one of their quarterbacks to straighten out either Jake Fromm or Justin Fields, I mean, who doesn't have respect for Georgia? I mean, Kirby Smart's doing a good thing over there. And it'll be tough to play. It'll be tough to play Georgia again in that atmosphere in the state of Georgia. I mean, Athens is a short drive from Atlanta.
Very short.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. And I mean, can't overlook Auburn. I mean that's their Super Bowl.
You can't overlook Citadel. You can't I don't want to sound crazy. You can't overlook anybody because you know what? Every game is a Super Bowl to an Alabama opponent. Everyone's trying to knock us off. Yep, Citadel is. Mercer was trying to knock us off last year, and whoever else we play. And if Georgia plays LSU in Baton Rouge 10 times, they lose all 10 times. And I'm sticking to that. I'm not afraid of Georgia.
Yeah, man.
Kirby Smart's afraid of us.
Yeah, I will tell you this, man. That stadium last night was electric. I mean, it was pretty fun to go check out. Anything else while you're on the show, Rob?
That be all, man. Love the show.
Hey, man, thanks for calling in. It's always good to rap with you.
Okay.
All right, take it easy. All right, I'll take a couple more calls, and then to be honest, man, I have to get some Z's. That drive back from Baton Rouge, it's not fun. Wish I could have been on the airplane with the Alabama football team. Slept in my own bed last night. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thanks for calling in. Where are you calling from, and who am I on the line with?
What's going on, Kyle? This is Jared from Buffalo, man.
Hey, what's up, man?
Told you I was going to call in, brother. Told you I was going to call in on Sunday, man.
Yeah, right on the dot, man. You got it. Takeaways from last night, man. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the game plan was exactly what I said was going to happen on Thursday. I kept telling everybody that, listen, don't forget our run game. Don't forget that we have one of the best offensive lines in the country. We were not going to be throwing the ball like everyone thought we was going to be like doing all game long. We were going to have a balance, and that's exactly what we did. Alabama could have scored 40 points on LSU if they would have stuck to the run game. Alabama dominated the line of scrimmage, and it wasn't even close. LSU was no scrubs with the defensive line with Rashard Lawrence and Fielko, and of course you got Michael Divinity Jr. But the offensive line dominated. Deontay Brown did one hell of a job.
Yeah,
he did one hell of a job. I got to give him his props. He did one hell of a job filling in, and hopefully he sticks around next year, man, because he is a power horse. But the line they dominated, and it was crazy because our running backs, which if you give our running backs a crease, it's a wrap.
Yep.
And 3-4 yards before contact. Like that, that's absolutely crazy. So I thought our offensive line did a phenomenal job holding up LSU. We could have scored. We could have put up 40 points if we didn't decide to, pass the ball a lot, or if we didn't decide to make some wrong calls here and there. But it was a phenomenal performance. And even with the free Devin White campaign, which I know you was at the game. I know you heard some of those chants, that free Devin White crap. Even when he was back in the game, he was just non-existent. Couldn't do anything. Sure. It was to the point where Najee Harris ran him over. Now, of course, Najee Harris got hurt, sprained his ankle with that play, but he ran him over. That's the best linebacker in the country. So I'm super excited. I'm stoked. My neighbors, they are quiet. They were loud yesterday. They are quiet now. All the LSU fans, they are quiet now. The flag is gone.
The flags are retracted.
The flag is gone. But from what I've seen, Kyle, this Alabama team, I don't see anybody. You know what? I don't like to say it, Kyle, but no one's being this team. Michigan, they're a good football team, but here's the problem, Kyle. They have a game manager quarterback. They have a game manager type of quarterback that averages like 170 yards passing. They rely on the run game. What does Nick Saban Alabama do best? Stop the run game.
Yeah, you can't run on Alabama.
Yep. When Dylan Moses and Mac Wilson, when they are on their A game and when they actually attack the hole, which I've been begging them to do, guess what? It's over. It's a wrap. You're not running on it. And Michigan won't do that. Georgia, they rely simply on that. And if you stop the run, which both of them are run-heavy teams, it's pretty much game over. Clemson, their quarterback is young. I have questions about their secondary and their linebacking core. I think that's pretty weak. LSU, honestly, was the best team that we played and that we will play all year, in my opinion. I don't see anybody else being this football team. But, victory, it feels so good, Kyle. Feels so good.
No, man. I'm happy for the Alabama fans. I mean, it was LSU fans. So I get to Baton Rouge, right? My first time there for a game weekend experience, and I'm not kidding. The place is filled with just purple shirts, flags, beat Bama. It was like,
wow.
And the crazy thing is they were so confident. Like Baton Rouge fans were so confident that this was their time, that they were going to beat Alabama. Everybody was. They did the haka right before with the student section, and the fans were lit. Odell Beckham Jr. was there. I mean, it was crazy. And then Bama just went in there and just, elected.
Snatched the soul.
Yeah, they elected to kick what, and they did.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what?
That was it.
I went to the Bama LSU game back in 2012. Same thing.
Yeah.
They had the parade. Everything was like that until Bama won the game, snatched the soul. LSU was quiet. And one thing I want to address right here, because I know he said he was going to watch. He's watching his show right now, Kyle. TJ, LSU dad, I know you're watching. I need you to call in the show, TJ. TJ, I'm going to need you to call in the show. And I'm going to need you to apologize to every single Alabama fan that is watching tonight. Apologize to Alabama Nation. 9 months, TJ. He has been talking so much crap about Alabama. And again, I like him. He's a cool dude and all, but no, he has talked so much crap. And it felt so good that we absolutely snatched their soul. And again, he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one. Every single LSU fan was talking smack. You know what I mean? Kyle, like, I got 9 neighbors in Buffalo that are LSU fans that just kept talking nothing, and they are silent. That's what we do, Kyle. We want Bama. Yep, you got it. You absolutely got it. You got your soul snatched, and that's exactly what we did.
Oh, man. Yeah, good stuff. No, good stuff. I appreciate the call. And anything else while you're on the show?
I'm just going to say this. We have a kicker here in Buffalo that just kicked a 57-yard field goal against St. Francis. He's 19 for 21.
Contact Nick Saban tomorrow. From Canisius High School. Jeff Richards. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to get him up here. He's only had one scholarship offer, and that was from Cortland. So we're gonna need to get him up here. He only had one miss, and that was from 63 yards, and he almost made it. So we're gonna have to recruit some kickers. I know we got Will, but again, we're gonna have to recruit at least 3 or 4 kickers. I'm not confident. We have got to learn how to kick a PAT. Kyle, we can't kick a PAT. We can't. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh man, killer stuff, man. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, and please call back again on Thursday. I got a special guest on Thursday, so please call again on Thursday.
I got you.
All right, man. Good stuff. I appreciate the call from Buffalo. All right.
You too, man.
All right. Cool. Good stuff tonight. I appreciate all the call-ins and all the feedback, whether you're calling from Buffalo, whether you're calling from Colorado, Hawaii, or wherever you're calling from, right here in Tuscaloosa. My name is Kyle Henderson. I'm the managing editor at BamaInsider.com. My contact info is up at the top of the screen. Feel free to contact me at any time. If you're interested in being a premium subscriber at BamaInsider.com and getting behind the paywall, hit us up at BamaInsider.com. Look for the free 30-day trial. As I always say at the end of the show, be good people. Be good to each other. Treat each other with respect. And to our men and women who are in the United States military, we certainly give you a civilian salute from our staff. what you do for this country is more than respected on our end, and I know it's we'll be thinking about you over the Thanksgiving holiday especially. So thank you for all that you do for us. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna get some Z's, and I will catch you back on Thursday. I got a special guest for you on Thursday, and I can't wait to be back. So be sure and call in. We'll rap about Mississippi State. Have a good week. Be productive. Remember, tomorrow is Nick Saban's press conference at 12 p.m. Central Time. We will bring that on our YouTube channel, and we will catch up with you. We'll catch up with you guys soon from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This is the BamaInsider.com live stream. I'll catch you guys soon. All right. Good night.